All right. Today I'm going to go over angle terminology level 0, these first two. These bottom two are actually review, so you can go ahead and try them first. If you need to review them, go to the previous video for the previous Delta Math assignment. And they will be relevant in these assignments, so that might be a good idea. Let's get started with identifying angles with terminology, okay? So these are 6 types of problems you're going to encounter. We're going to go over one of each type, okay? First one is what angle represents UYW, okay? So let's go ahead and trace out those letters. U to Y to W, okay? And in between those letters, or those lines, we see the number 5. So UYW traces out these two lines, and in between them is 5. So for this one, we just put 5. Awesome, let's continue. This is question type, well, either 5 or 6, okay? Let's figure it out. First is, where is CGB, okay? CGB, if we trace it out, we get these two lines, it's angle 1. And it's asking for what is measure of angle DGB. So let's take a look. D, G, and B is angle 2. Let me use different colors actually so we can better see them. AGB is angle 2. Okay. Next is, are they next to each other or are they across from each other? If they're next to each other, we call that a linear pair. If they're across, we call that vertical. Together, these two angles form a line here. So the lines connect here, okay? And because they have this line where they connect, we call that a linear pair. Linear pair. So, and if they form a linear pair, these angles are adjacent because they share this side, and they're supplementary, which means they add up to 180. So our equation would be 79 plus our other angle will equals 180. In this case, we subtract 79 from 180 to get our answer, because if two numbers add up to another 180, we can subtract one of them to find the other one, and if we subtract it, we get 101. So I'm going to enter in 101, and that'll be my answer. There we go. So that is a case where they form a linear pair, okay? Let's continue. This time it asks for an angle adjacent. So we see what number represents the adjacent angle. Let's trace out LRK first. So we start at L, we go to R, and we go to K. In between these two lines is this number 1. So we put 1. Or no, my bad. LRK is 1. And what's adjacent to it? Well, the one that shares the same side will be number 2. Because to draw out number 2, we need to draw out this side and this side. And notice that this side right here, both of these angles share that side. And that's what it means to be adjacent, okay? So that's what it means to be adjacent. We'll put angle number 2. All right, so we've gone over what represents, the one that's adjacent, and the one that forms a linear pair, the measure of the angle that forms a linear pair. Let's put check marks next to them. We've done this, we've done that, we've done this. Let me take a look at this one. All right, so this one is another one. Let's first out, once again, let's draw JRM. Here's J, here's R, here's M. And then we also have to draw LRK. So let's draw L to R, and then R to K. Cool. In between the red lines is angle 3. In between the blue lines is angle 1. Neither of the sides are overlapping. The sides do not touch each other. And these angles are across from each other. So remember I said when they're across from each other, we call that vertical. Vertical works like this. If JRM, this angle 3, is 83 degrees, angle 1 is also 83 degrees, okay? So I submit that. And there we go. Vertical angles are congruent. That means their values are the same. Let's continue. So we've already done both of these types of problems, so let's look for another type of problem. We've done this as well. All right, linear pair. Let's do this one. So NSM, let's find the angle. Always start with finding the angle. NSM is number 6, right here. Once again, linear pair means we want to form a line. So the angle that will form a line is angle 5, and I'll show you why. Let's draw out this line. If I extend it, both 6 and 5 are on the same side of this line. So 6 and 5 form a linear pair, and 5 is a linear pair of NSM. Cool. All right, let's see if we can find the last one, which is the vertical angle. No. Let's see if there's, oh, here, last type of problem. Which angle represents an angle vertical to WYT? So let's draw out WYT, W to Y to T, okay? In between those two lines that we drew is angle 4. Which angle is across from it? It's angle 6. And I'll show you that across from it means that when you trace out the sides, none of the sides of angle 6 and none of the sides of angle 4 are touching. So that's why they are vertical. All right, so that's all the types of problems we'll encounter in this first one. Let's make sure it's purple. Okay, so let's go back. Let's take a look at this second one then. Vertical adjacent complementary angles. And let me erase this now. Let's go over what we can take away from this. So if it's vertical, then they are congruent and have the same values. If they are adjacent or complementary, they add up to 90 degrees, my bad. So let's take a look at these first. First, let's find, it's important to recognize the relationships, okay? So 133 and B, immediately we can say they are vertical. Here is an X shape. If you have an X shape and they are across from each other, up, down, C and this other one would be vertical. So 133 and B are the same value. That's vertical, okay? The other one is, how do we find the value of C? And if we draw this line across, we can see that C and 133, they form a linear pair, okay? They are both sides on the same side of this red line. So that means C plus 133 equals 180. And to find C, we can subtract 133. And the answer will be, use a calculator, you'll get 47. There we go. Next problem. Same type of problem, so let's skip this one. All right, this is where they are complementary, okay? And let me add the near pair. Same angles are on the same side of line and add up to 180 degrees. Adjacent and supplementary. All right, so we see that they make a little right angle. Let me add that to this, actually. Form a right angle. So they form a right angle, so we can say they add up to 90. So we can put A plus 70 equals 90. To solve for A, we can subtract. Here's the algebraic way for another way to think about it. We subtract 70 from both sides. So 70A plus 70 minus 70 is A. 90 minus 70 is 20. So we put A is equal to 20. All right. Let's see this one. All right, this one where they only form a linear pair, okay? Here's a line, and they are on the same side of this line where they're cut in half. This is a sign of a linear pair. So we say A plus 20 equals 180. Subtract 20 from both sides. And we get A is equal to 160. Cool. So these are the only types of problem you'll think. Let's do one more of these where it forms an X shape, okay? So first is to identify the vertical angles. Those are color-coded to be vertical. Angles across from each other. So 99C is 99 degrees. That's the easy one. Then let's find the linear pair. Where B and 99 we can see if we cover up this bottom half especially. But here is our linear pair. Let's cover up this bottom half too. All right, so this looks like our previous one where it's a linear pair. We can set up the equation. B plus 99 equals 180. B is equal to 81. Oh, you subtract. I skipped a few steps. Let me go back. I have subtract 99. I subtract 99. I want to balance the equation, okay? Make sure what I do to one side, I do to the other. So 81. And that is my answer. Ta-da! All right, so doing these two are the two new ones you have to do. And that concludes our angles terminology level 0. The other two are review from last one. So if you need help, review the previous videos. Thank you, like and subscribe.